That's your job.
All right, so you want to do a little introduction for yourself today?
An introduction, yeah, I can do that. I am Devin Rupp, and I don't know where else to go from there.
Okay.
That's me, yeah.
You own Rupp Films?
Yeah, so I started up a film production company here in Wichita in 2023. January 1st, very first day of the new year, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And so I went ahead and did it because I was in film school at Full Sail University, and I knew I was coming up on graduating from that, and so, I don't know, it just seemed like the right time to kind of start it up, I guess. And since then, a lot of scripts have been copywritten, big pipeline of projects in the works. Been focusing on short films, though, right now. This last year we did 7. 6 of them have been released. The 7th is coming soon. And then we've got some other projects that we're about to start production on once spring comes back around. Too cold for everybody right now, apparently. I don't know. They're all wussies, I guess. But
So you said you went to film school. Did you go to that immediately once you graduated, or what was kind of that process transition? I guess.
So I don't know. I was kind of had some life circumstances happen, and big changes unfolded, and I'd always wanted to be a filmmaker, very passionate about films, and just view it as this very artistic form of expression that can connect with people and connect with audiences, maybe shed light on, things that maybe people, don't necessarily experience in day-to-day life, and kind of shed light on stuff. So, I got enrolled in January of 2021, and then 2023 of June is when I finished my program there, and did the Rupp Films LLC, filed all that stuff, and got that going in January 1st, 2023. So I don't know, just kind of the experience going through the process of the film school, and learning and getting more confident in what I do, I guess. Kind of segued into, okay, cool, let's make it official, and now it's trademarked, and have a short film that won a film festival award, so that's really cool. You were in that one. Yes, you got killed at it. Yep. So it's just a lot of fun, and I think you can attest that, as can you, that it's just fun to go out there and make it. And while there hasn't been any money generated on it yet, it's coming. The state is in the process right now of passing film tax incentives. They voted on it last year, passed in the House and the Senate for the state, but Laura Kelly vetoed it, which don't do it again this time. It just passed in the Senate, state Senate again, and it's already been introduced in the House, I think Thursday. So they should be voting on that soon, and then it'll go back to her desk, and fingers crossed, this time around she doesn't screw it up and, passes that, because second she does, I think it's going to be easy for me to bring an investor on board, and then we go make some movies and kind of put Kansas and Wichita on the map as film production place. So
So what exactly does that bill consist of?
So there's different kind of parameters you have to hit. I don't know exactly what changed from the bill they introduced last year to this year, other than it went from, they were going to do $10 million in funding. Now it's down to $5 million. But essentially you got to hit a few different things to be able to get a tax break for a production that is in the state of Kansas. So like if you're using cast and crew talent essentially from the state, majority of your cast and crew is from here, I think that's 5%. I think you get 25% if at least 75% of the film is shot in the state of Kansas. So I think it goes up to 35%. It might just be that 30. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
so it just makes it a lot more cheaper.
Well, it takes a lot of the risk out of it. That tends to be the biggest thing I've had an issue with, trying to bring people on board to kind of get behind this and raise the funds to make this happen. Is like every other state, they've got film tax incentives. I think Kansas is one of like 13 that doesn't still. And Missouri was one of those, and then the second they passed it, now like Kansas City on the Missouri side's like popping off with their film stuff, and I think they only did it because they could have had Ozark shot in their state, and because they didn't have film tax incentives, they didn't shoot it there. So and that show was a huge success for Netflix, made a lot of money. So Missouri probably kicking themselves in the butt for that, but better late than never. And that's my message to you, Laura Kelly. Better late than never. Let's pass it. Let's get it done.
So from where does your passion kind of for film, like at what age did that start? And then also, we've kind of talked about before that your parents, in a sense, have like a big influence on what your interests are. Do you feel like they had any interest in you liking film, or was that kind of grown on your own,
So growing up, I think it was a combination of factors. Film became kind of my escape, I guess, just as like video games too. I enjoy video games, music, all that kind of stuff. Movies, TV. I think everybody kind of can connect over that, even if their tastes may be different. But I don't know. At a younger age, that was kind of my escape. Like if I was ever feeling down, feeling stressed, just throw on a movie and kind of decompress. I don't think my mom had any part in it. I know for a fact my dad probably didn't. But it was like I got real big into the horror genre at like 5 years old. And that's why I got the tattoos on my arm of all these icons. But I don't know, it was just kind of an escape, something I found fun. And then I think I was 7 or 8 when there was a Panasonic VHS camcorder introduced into my life, and I used to play with that all the time and started shooting home movies. And I don't know, it's somewhere along the way I just kind of realized that's what I want to do.
Oh yeah, that's something I've always been curious about, is like, why horror?
So I don't just want to do horror. So amongst my friends and people that know me, I tend to get referred to as the movie guy. And at some point I was the horror movie guy as well. Maybe I'm just both of those. But I don't know. I think horror is really cool in the fact that you can elicit different emotional responses from people, and also be able to use it as a template to be able to tell stories that matter. And I think that's kind of, horror has changed a lot over the years. Especially like 80s, it was, mostly just like slasher movies and, occasional like, supernatural, like paranormal kind of stuff, like Poltergeist, whatever. But a lot of times they're made just to be fun, dumb, turn your brain off, have a good time, enjoy the kills, or enjoy the like jump scares or what have you. But horror now, with this new crop of filmmakers that have kind of come up, into the genre, I think has changed to where they tell stories that are more impactful, explore themes that are a lot more complex and deeper. So things like Hereditary, right? Exploring grief and like, family kind of trauma, so to speak. And then and there's many more that kind of hit these different kind of topics of discussion that are kind of prevalent in society. So I think it's a really cool genre to be able to, and it's also, horror movies are cheaper to make and usually tend to make the most money, for their investment that you put in. So it's me being a big horror fan just always seemed like this is the natural path, is start in the place I'm most comfortable, the place I know the most, and then kind of segue that into other stuff. Like I always told myself I'm never going to write a love story, and then 2 years ago I wrote a love story, right? And then I was like, I'm never going to do like just some crazy action movie, and then I wrote some crazy action movie. Like I don't know, things just I think as I've gotten older and grown up and experienced life, like I've also changed in my taste as well. But I'm still a horror fan at heart. That's where my allegiance lies. So that's where we're starting.
Yeah. So where would you want to go following horror? Do you have anything in mind if that day
I just
came?
want to kind of hit everything.
Yeah.
I want to do like even the horror stuff I've written feature film wise, and even the shorts to an extent are very much rooted in kind of drama. Outside of The Report Part 1 and Whispers, which are both kind of like found footage. I'm a big Blair Witch Project fan, so that's why those are the way they are. But they definitely have a lot more drama and theatrical elements to it, and especially in the way we kind of conceived it and then kind of brought it to life. I think Penumbra is a very good example of that. Just because we kind of went through the paces of how we wanted, me to walk into a room, and how we wanted the camera to be, layered in this shot, and just kind of had everything like to a set, kind of choreographed motion, kind of like you would for like a play or something. But yeah, I kind of want to I want to do everything. I want to make a sci-fi trilogy that. That would be cool. Something kind of like Mass Effect. That'd be super awesome. I want to do thrillers. I love a good thriller. Want to do action. And then, I'll probably go back to horror after all that's said and done.
Yeah.
So do you have something that you feel like inspires you kind of from where you come from, or is it just all kind of natural, personal?
I think it's natural, but I definitely have a lot of things that inspire me and I think it's not just like an overarching thing. I think it's more of a like a project to project kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anytime I write a script, anytime I put a character in there, it is based on somebody in my life, good or bad, right? And I try really hard to make sure nobody's going to be able to tell who it is or whatever. I don't want to, be catching any cease and desist letters, oh, this was about me. No. And if a character has a name, it's probably somebody I know personally, but it's not based on them when I attach the name to it. But the character themselves is usually based on somebody I know, whether it's, the sweet guy that, has the right moral compass, or it's, the douchebag. It doesn't matter. So,
Yeah.
But, on a project basis, it's, there's definitely different things that inspire me for each project, whether that's, other filmmakers' works, or, whether that's, novels I've read, or games or music. I always have music playing whenever I'm writing something, or when I'm on my way to a shoot, just to get me in the zone as well. So there's a lot of things that go into my creative process, I suppose.
Yeah. No, and I think it's like really cool. Like we had the music guy Deacon on a few weeks ago.
I watched that.
Just seeing how people view their craft as like how there's so many different forms of art, and how you can articulate yourself in so many different ways,
I think, and that's why I love music too. Like any of the kind of, I view it all as art, right? Like tattooing, as we were talking about earlier. Like I view that as art. I view music as art. I view film as art, television, novels, like all that stuff. There's a lot that goes into that, and I feel like some of the best works usually are whoever's creating it is putting a piece of themselves into it. So in that sense, it's very raw, very very genuine kind of sense of expression, and I think that's why people can get behind all these different, things and find something that everybody can enjoy in it is, I don't know. There's just some kind of relatability in all of it. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
something
ahead,
something I found pretty interesting is like we've actually talked about this, how like a lot of the shorts you make or feature films that you've written, like they all have like a bigger meaning behind it. It isn't just like a visual like just this movie that looks good. Like there's actual meaning behind the characters and how they interact with each other.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I just always thought that was pretty interesting.
And we always try to like add some like little subliminal touches to things that are in like within a shot. So like the whole theme of 11/11, right? And then like the fact that we did Penumbra and the Nightmare. Both of those shorts are kind of companion pieces to that feature script I wrote, and they're very different. The two shorts are, one leans more into the horror elements, I guess, and the other's more of the dramatic side, but like the film is somewhere in between, and but there's connective tissue between each of those that kind of feeds in to the feature as well. So and we make sure to get the 11/11 time in there every opportunity we can. So you might not even notice it while watching it, but like somebody might show their phone and the time's going to read 11/11, and you're like, so we try to include some kind of connective tissue. Plus, I always like, and you can attest to this. I love hearing everybody that wants to be a part of this and ends up going out and doing this stuff with us. I want to hear what their thoughts on it are, and what their perspective is. What maybe like, what do you think we should do in this scenario? And then bounce ideas, and then okay, cool. We'll go ahead and shoot it and see how it looks. And I feel like that's also how some of the best art's created. Is it's a real team effort.
I think that was a big part of the report. A lot of that was happening where we were like, maybe we should try this, and Dallas was like, we should try this, and like it kind of all got put together, all of our different ideas.
Yes, it was a culmination of everything. And Whispers was especially like that, because we went out there, had no idea what we were going to shoot. No script, nothing. I was like, okay, let's go to the cemetery with a camera, let's just go shoot something. Yeah. And that's what came out. And Whispers is the weakest. But it's got some of my favorite moments. Like Caden gets ripped behind a truck by Dallas, and I love that shot.
If you're okay with it, I'll put that in there too.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite things we've captured. You're really good at dying.
Yeah, I guess.
It's a good time. Yeah.
So whenever you're getting people to be a part of your films and whatnot, who do you have a certain people you go to every time? And then on top of that, when it comes to like music that you add in, is that stuff you create yourself, or do you have people you go to for that as well?
So for the music side, I've got my buddy, shout out Brandon Grosh. He did the music for Report Part 1 and 2, and then I reused some of the music he did from Part 1 for Part 3 that's not out yet, but it's coming soon. But and then he also did the original little music bit with somebody else, somebody that he knows, and they did that for Penumbra, and then he did Whispers as well. But Night In was entirely me, and then the Report Part 3 is the stuff that's not Brandon's in there is stuff that I tried to make. I gave it my best shot. I think it sounds good. I don't know. We'll find out. Because I actually downloaded software and played around with stuff, and I'd never done it to that extent before. But yeah, Brandon's someone I definitely want to like have as a film composer. in the future. And then Dallas is, shout out Dallas. He's kind of my number two. He's the one that tends to light a fire under my ass and kind of brings it all together, I guess. And he's a big horror nut like I am as well. So that makes it a lot of fun. And then Emma and Caden, I always like to work with these two. They'll make the time if they are able to. Yeah, I don't know. It's always fun. Emma's a hell of an actress, by the way.
And if you need somebody to die, I'm the perfect one.
Well, so yeah, he's got something coming up that we're gonna do, and he's got a much bigger role. So this time he actually gets a chance to act. He's not gonna die within the first 5 minutes. So yeah, it'll be a good time. And then Tori, give a shout out to Tori as well for the report part 1, and then came back for part 3. She killed it in this newest one.
She did really good.
Oh, she's so good. Yeah, she's someone that we're going to work with more, and then yeah, we're bringing more people into it for the next set of projects we're going to be doing this year. We're putting a lot more into it, I think, this time around, and I don't know. It's just we keep growing, keep getting better, and yeah, it's got some good stuff coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So how many people do you have typically per film? Or is there a average, or does it just kind of range from thing to thing?
It kind of bounces around. So for something like Penumbra, it was just me and Dallas on that, and then Cheese. I said Cheese. That's his nickname.
Yeah.
Brandon did the music for it, but that was just me and Dallas. And we took turns with the camera. That was the first time he had ever worked the camera. Yeah, it was just the two of us. And then Drowning is a short I made, and that was entirely me. I had nobody else on that. So the script, the voiceover, all the shots, all the camera work, everything, the music, the editing, that was all me. And then we have stuff where like Whispers, right? It ended up being 6 of us in total. Dallas, Jenny, shout out Jenny. Can't forget you. She's also been in various things as well, and yeah, she's great.
She has a podcast in the newest one.
Yeah. She was saying last night she's going to do a podcast for and make a Discord group for the Ruppies, which is apparently going to be the fan base name for Rupp Films fans, the Ruppies. And she's been going on all of our videos and commenting Rupptastic, Rupptacular, and I'm just, please, Jenny, stop, please. But yeah, it just kind of ranges. We come up with an idea, we figure out how many people it's going to take to make it, and then we just kind of figure out who wants to do it, and then figure out what the schedules are and everything, and get a location secured, and then boom, we go do it. And this year I think we're going to do some projects that are going to require more people. Mm-hmm. We're expanding the scope, so to speak. Yeah. Which I think is cool. And there's other filmmakers here in Wichita that are, putting their time and resources into it. So I think we are poised for some big stuff here in Kansas in regards to film. And yeah, I hope I'm one of the people at the front leading this damn thing. Let's go.
Yeah. So then per film, what all goes into it to kind of put out that final product? And then additionally, how much time can it range from taking from writing a script to finishing recording, So writing a script, if it's a short, I can have a short script done in a day. Because those tend to be anywhere from 5 to maybe 15 pages. Yeah. When it comes to a feature film script, I've knocked them out in a month. Yeah. And then gone back and done like a month of rewrites, and then boom, it came out great. And there's other ones like 1111. I started writing that in 2011 and didn't have it finished till 2022. And this
the original concept for that changed drastically. It's nothing like it was before. But the finalized version of the script, I think it took 6 months to finally get it to where it is now. So, and then it went through 3-4 months of rewrites as well. But I don't know. It just kind of varies. For the short stuff, a script take a day. Production take a couple days of shooting, especially if we have different locations. And then we usually always go back and watch the edit we make, and we're like, we gotta go do reshoots. That's the call I hate the most. Every time I get a text or a call from Dallas saying, hey dude, we need to go reshoot that, I'm like but we go do it because it's gonna make it better ultimately. And then editing also kind of varies depending on the project and depending on what kind of reshoots are needed. So it kind of varies. For the report, which won the festival award, we came up with the idea at 10 o'clock at night and went and shot it and had it done within 24 hours, and then I had it finished and edited by the end of the week. So,
and what? Yeah, I don't think there was.
Yeah, there was no script for that one. Well, there was a basic script for like the initial stuff with me and Tori, but everything else we just winged it.
Yeah, there's kind of like a template of what we wanted to do, and then we just kind of fit the pieces in.
And that's the other thing. I always tell people whenever like there is a script, I'm always like, hey, you don't have to read the dialogue tit for tat how it says, on the page. Like, I want you to deliver it as realistically as possible, make it feel natural. How would you deliver this? Like, it's not, this very strict thing I need you to adhere to. It's just, as you said, a blueprint. So, I always seek to get the most kind of genuine, honest, realistic performances out of everybody. So I just want them to be themselves in the moment. Granted, we're all doing horror movies right now, so I mean, we all have to pretend we're scared, but
yeah. Which the cemetery one, it was a little scary out there.
I don't know. I think you made it scarier, Emma. You made it a little bit scary. You were like, I see somebody over there, and I'm like, wait, what? Really? What? Oh, she's just acting.
Yeah,
it did look like a doll.
It was it was that little light that it was like reflected off of a glass thing.
Yes, and it was like right by those. It was right by the like creepy part of the cemetery too, where all the bushes were at and everything. So, yeah, that was fun times. You did sell that. You made us all a little scared. Dallas was like, "Oh, I'm a little scared too," and I'm like, "Are you really?" He's like, "Yeah, a little bit, man." I'm like, "Oh, okay." I got it on camera. I don't know if he means it or not, but I'm gonna hold that against you.
Well, also, it was like midnight, and we were in a cemetery, like just walking on people's graves. It was just like,
oh yeah. So this is another thing. Anytime we ever go shoot anything, I get hurt. It always happens. Sprained my ankle when we did the report. Whispers, I tripped over one of the tombstones and hit my leg and cut it open on another one. I ran into a tree that night too, didn't I? That's in the short. I ran into a tree branch, and I think you can hear me say, "Oh, I ran into a fucking tree."
There was I don't know if you remember, but the scene that we put in where I ran into the car.
Yeah.
Remember, I first accidentally ran into that car, like full speed.
So we did it. We did 2 takes of him running into Dallas's truck.
But the first one was on accident.
One he accidentally actually ran into it. That's the take that's in there, and then I spliced the other half of the other one in there. It came out seamless, but so the shot you see of him running into the truck, that's legitimate.
Yeah,
that really happened.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
It was worth it.
Oh yeah.
So outside of films and whatnot, what all you got going on in your life?
So I do video editing work from home. Usually freelance, but I don't know. Lately, have been getting some contract kind of gigs. So a little bit more official, I guess. But so that's kind of what I do day to day, I suppose, for income or whatever. But outside of that, just do the movie stuff or hang out with family. I've got a 10-year-old. He's also big fan of horror as well now. So I've done well or bad, depending on who you ask, I guess. But that's where most of my time kind of goes towards is work, film, and family. So
yeah. So you might have a unique opinion on this, but what do you think is the right age as a parent to start letting your kids watch some of those horror movies and whatnot?
So he's known about all the slasher movie characters that I'm a big fan of: Freddy, Jason, Michael, Chucky, all that kind of stuff. But and he still hasn't seen any of those. He has watched Scream. That didn't happen until this year. And then we went to the theater Friday night for his first ever R-rated horror movie in the theater, The Monkey, which was hilarious, over the top, gory. But I feel like part of what I do and having him with us for some of these shoots, he understands kind of like, hey, this is just, this is what goes into making it. So whatever I see, that's not real. That's, this just make believe, right? It's just meant to entertain.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's a big thing I've noticed is like working with you and like being behind or seeing behind the scenes stuff. You have a different perspective watching like actual movies now because you know what goes into it.
Yeah. It gives you a different kind of level of appreciation for all the work that goes into it as well.
Yeah.
And then. Yeah, and that's why I'm always of the mindset, and maybe this goes back to my days as like being a store manager in the past, but like even when I was at work, like I don't feel anybody should ever go to work and just be stressed out and just like be loathing getting through a shift. Like I always sought to make work fun, right? Like, hey, we have fun, but like when it's time to put our heads down and knock it out, let's get her done. Yeah, that's kind of that translated to the movie set kind of stuff. I want it to be very much the same dynamic. I want everybody to feel welcome, to have fun, to not take it too serious. And we're all just here and kind of just enjoy it. And I don't know, it makes it a much better experience. But I guess I got my kid into. He just naturally liked horror younger because I was a big fan of it, but I wasn't letting him watch any of the bad stuff, I guess, so to speak. So it was more like Gremlins or Poltergeist, which I don't know, that the bathroom face peeling scene in that's a little much maybe for an 8-year-old, but the movie's rated PG. What am I supposed to do? Jaws, he's seen Jaws. I still, anybody that says Jaws isn't a horror movie's out of their mind. Just want to make that clear. That is 100% a horror movie. Summer blockbuster too. You don't get blockbusters without Jaws. True story. But I think now that he's at the age where I feel comfortable with him being able to watch some of the stuff. Granted, I'm still gonna kind of do my due diligence and make sure what kind of content is in it. Mm-hmm. So if it's anything that's hypersexual, has any of those kinds of themes in it, that's a no-go. I was excited to go see Nosferatu, and I was like, I wonder if I could take him to it. And then I was reading up on it, and I'm like, yeah, that's a no. It's a no. But I don't know. I think it's different for every kid. Uh-huh. It kind of depends on their level of exposure to that kind of stuff, and then whether or not they are able to separate, real life from fiction. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's something. I think mine's at that age now and has had that exposure to where he kind of understands that. So
yeah.
and being part of the movies has helped. So
has he had roles in the movies before?
yeah, he's in Whispers, and he's pretty good in it. I was really shocked by how good he was in it. And then I've got like 2.5 hours of behind the scenes from the report that he shot on my phone. So I've still been editing it, and he caught a lot of good stuff there. He got a lot of stuff I can't share with people, but yeah, it's a good time. So
yeah. As he gets older, would you like to continue for him to work into different and larger roles, you think? Is that something he's interested in?
Yeah, if he's down, I would be more than welcome to let him be a part of, everything I do. I don't think that's something I'm going to have to worry about. He wants to be an archaeologist, paleontologist, and marine biologist. But he did tell me a while back that he's going to direct one movie ever in his life, and it's going to be better than anything I've ever made and anything I ever make, and he's never going to make anything ever again after that. Wow. So, yeah, he threw down the challenge gauntlet, and I have to answer it now.
That's a bold statement.
He's a pretty bold kid.
Yeah.
That is hilarious. No, that's pretty unique experience, too, to get to, well, for you firsthand to have your child involved in that with you, but then also for him to kind of grow up witnessing things that normal people don't witness a day in their life. For sure,
and it's just, as I said, not just for him, but for everybody involved. It's just a lot of fun. And then I'm of the mindset that as this continues to build and grow, and more people kind of come into this and get pulled within our gravity, I guess. He's just going to make more connections, and I think that's kind of what life's all about, is making new connections and experiencing new things with both new and old people. And I don't know, it's a good time, good experience, and a good thing overall. So that's what I hope to do, and I think for him, and for him especially, because he has so much fun being a part of it, but for everybody. Oh, he was also in a short film I did at Full Sail as well, called The Caller, and in that we put him in a creepy Halloween mask, and he's pretty scary at it. He's pretty scary at it. So yeah, he loves being a part of this stuff, and I think everybody that's done anything with us to this point can probably vouch for that as well. I think everybody's had a really good time. So that's what it's all about at the end of the day for me. I just want it to be fun for everybody and put out stuff that, hopefully people like. And if they don't, then so be it.
Yeah.
We've already got some haters on the Rupp Films YouTube comments, man.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Some of them were, I don't know, maybe Emma can pull some of them up, but, there's one that's like, "Stop making this trash" or whatever.
Damn.
Yeah, it's
we're not at that level yet, but
yeah,
that might be in the future.
Well, somebody said, "Oh, look, Hollywood decided to make another found footage movie," and I just commented back. I was like, "We're not Hollywood."
Yeah.
Also, big fans of Blair Witch Project over here, though. Thanks for watching. Like, I always try and kill them with kindness.
Yeah.
I'm not one to, bite back at somebody. Like, that's their opinion. I'm not going to change it.
Yeah.
So.
And that's the other thing, too. It's like you had the time to go and watch it and then go comment how much you dislike it. Like what's the point?
Hey, I welcome it. I welcome it.
Yeah, no, this
is that
this
pulled
one's
up?
You can read it. I can't see it from here.
It's now been over 20 years since the found footage horror had kicked off by TVWP. So I guess
That's Blair Witch Project.
No.
I guess Hollywood now figures it's time to do it again with a new generation who don't remember the first one and how quickly it got stale. And then a year ago, that was a laughably bad trailer.
Dang.
Which it wasn't. The trailer was actually really good.
I think the Whispers trailer is better than the short, honestly. The trailer for Whispers is pretty fire.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the other thing, too, is like there's so much that goes into some of those like little crafts and all different aspects, you know, like especially like even the podcast thing, you know, and kind of like you were talking, it makes you look at things differently doing it firsthand. Like for me at least, whenever I listen to podcasts now, because I listen to podcasts typically every day, maybe every other day, you know, but it makes me like think about things different and look at things differently on like, okay, how are they doing this? You know, how are they doing that? You know, and just different. It makes me really dissect what I'm watching a lot differently, you know.
And then you take that with you coming into this podcast, and then as time goes, just start to implement more of those things as you learn and grow. Yeah, that's what it's all about, is learning and growing. And
your phone shut off?
I don't know what happened. Sorry. I called it.
Is it still going though?
Oh yeah, we'll have the audio. Audio's still recording. Oh, just get back on it. Yeah, no, the audio's still going, so we're good.
Hey there, cutie. If Dallas was here, that would be a lot worse.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, D.
I do want to watch somehow the trailer for the newest one. It won't be on there.
I know.
Hold on, I can make it to where it can get pulled up. Just a short clip, and then it's got a little, I don't know, 20-second-ish tease with it.
Good.
Yep.
All
All right, let's watch. Yeah, let's watch that.
Can you see it?
You gonna make?
Oh,
it
yeah,
big,
no, I'm
you
good. I know
gonna
you're
you gonna
talking
make
about.
it big screen?
Yeah,
No, you gonna. What are we doing? There we go.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. So, in
Oh my god.
Fortnite,
New season.
so when it comes to like putting together a trailer like that, what does it take to go into that? Like, how do you choose what makes all that? You know?
It's very tough. For that one, I kind of already knew what I was going to do with it before coming on here. So I wanted it to be nothing that would spoil anything.
Yeah.
And I think I did the same kind of thing for the report and Whispers, because I have the shot of the light flickering on you in Whispers before you got ripped behind the truck. So that shot doesn't like. It teases moments or whatever, but it doesn't. So I make sure it doesn't reveal the whole thing. The first report trailer like has a snippet, but it's all glitchy of you impaled. But like unless you freeze frame it on one specific, at the right time, you're not going to be able to see it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I kind of do stuff like that intentionally. It's trying not to reveal a lot, and then making sure it kind of is something that's engaging, I guess.
Yeah.
This is a whole nother element to this whole thing is like film school never taught us how to make a trailer or how to tease your stuff or whatever. They're just like, here, make it and then put it. Okay, cool. So once I filed for Rupp Films LLC, got the trademark, like I've learned all this new stuff that is so far out of what my expertise is, I guess. So like I've had to become kind of a business individual. I've had tons of meetings and Zoom calls and email exchanges with investors, producers, venture capitalists, other writers, just tons of people in the film industry that I've made connections with over the last couple of years, and bouncing ideas off of, trying to learn, trying to continue to grow and improve. That's something that I think you have to strive to do if you're going to succeed at this. There's a lot of filmmakers out there in the world that or even just someone that's a screenwriter. I consider myself a filmmaker that happens to write the stuff that he goes and makes. There's some that they don't write anything. They just find stuff other people have written and then go make that. But there's a lot of people in this world that don't want to do this but don't get that opportunity, or they try for a bit and then they get burned out on it. I saw a post actually today before I came over here from somebody on LinkedIn that I don't follow them, but it popped up on my feed because somebody else does, and was they were trying to give them words of encouragement, and I suppose I probably could have done the same, but I didn't. But I get where they're coming from. A lot of people, they end up getting stuck into this kind of bottomless pit of just financing, their script, putting it into tons of film festivals, which that gets super expensive in a hurry. And same with filmmakers, that they're doing what we're doing, right? Making short films. They're putting their stuff in tons of film festivals. I only put it into, I put the report in 5 film festivals. I submitted for 6. The only one we didn't make it in was the one right here in Wichita, Tallgrass. So why? Whatever.
Hey, but it won.
Hey, we won in L.A. We won a festival in L.A., right? So, I mean, and there's no hard feelings. I understand that there's things are different. You're not going to win all those awards. You're not going to get accepted into every festival. I'm also not going to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars to try and submit to film festivals that aren't going to ultimately get you anywhere. There's this misconception that, if I put it into a film festival and it does well, whether it's my script or my film or, the score or whatever, that, this, if it does well, this is my breakout chance. And that's not how it works. There's realistically only a handful of film festivals that if you submit to, they're going to, net you anything, other than a loss. So, and that would be places like Sundance, South by Southwest, things of that nature. Atlanta Film Festival's been pretty good, and then Austin Film Festival has been pretty good. They're going down that rabbit hole. You can lose a lot of money and you get burned out, and then you just throw in the towel. A lot of people get into this and then they give up because they're like, it's not going anywhere. It's never going to go anywhere. And I could have done that multiple times over this journey. I mean, I did kind of give up on the dream, just because life happened, once I was 18. And because by the time I was 18, I already had 6 scripts copywritten, which I think in and of itself is probably not the norm. I think that's kind of crazy. But a lot of people want to do this and want to invest in it, but they it's hard to do. It's definitely not for everybody. Same as I would say probably music is, like, especially if you're going the indie route, you don't have the connections and the money behind you to make it happen. You're going to have to work twice as hard as everybody else, and you're going to have to find people that want to do it with you, and they're also going to work as hard as you're going to work. So it's just kind of one of those scenarios. But I don't know. I think we've done very well, and I think we're going to have a even better year this year. And then if they pass those film tax incentives, we'll somebody come on. Yeah, put some money into the Rupp Films bank account. And let's go make some movies together. We'll make money too. Yeah.
And we were talking about this, but I'd like to highlight how much you project that the 1111 would make.
Oh, yeah. So the ballpark estimates for because I've had to do financial analysis reports. I've had to do pitch decks and comparisons to other projects and, full breakdowns and budget reports and everything. This is where the money would be going. This is who it's going to. This is how much everybody makes on the front end, on the back, all crazy stuff, right? And it gets overwhelming sometimes, but it is what it is. 1111 conservative estimates would make in between 1.9 and 4.1 million dollars on a $500,000 budget. I 100% think I can make it happen on that. If I just sold the distribution rights to a streaming platform like a Netflix or Prime Video, whoever, right? Somebody picked it up and wanted it to be on their platform as an original. That alone would make its budget back. The problem you run into with going the streaming route is you get that money in the one-time upfront payment. You're not getting paid any residuals on the back end. I don't want to do that. I want to make my stuff and then send it to theaters. And Terrifier 3 came out last year, right? The movie cost $2.5 million to make. I think they only spent $500,000 on the marketing, and that movie made I don't know. Last I saw, I know it was $79 million worldwide. I don't know what it's at now, but I mean, you can market some if you a lot of the times especially with like Hollywood movies, Hollywood's literally and figuratively on fire a lot of the time. But
so it said
they just had a
15
wildfire.
million worldwide, $50 million.
Grossing over 15 million worldwide, and it cost production budget was approximately $250,000.
That's Terrifier 2. Pull up Terrifier 3's number.
Oh.
Because, Terrifier 2 was a huge success as well, though. $250,000 budget and you make $15 million. You take that all day, dude.
Yeah.
If that's what you're going to make, man, invest in Rupp Films. We'll be cranking them out like hotcakes.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, we'll make it happen.
Well, my biggest thing is you see the films that you've already made, and they're pretty good. That's on a zero budget.
Yeah, we're doing
much.
all this with the camera I got sent from Full Sail, which is a good camera. It's a Sony FX6. It came with a 28 to 105 telephoto lens, and it's fine. But I went and bought some prime lenses that are made for cinema. But everything's on a budget still.
Yeah.
And then I have my lighting kit that I take with me, and then Dallas brings his Jackaroo and we hook them up, and so we're able to light stuff outside now, which if we'd had that for Whispers, it probably would have been a hell of a lot better. But we learn as we go. Okay, read that.
It was reported $1 million production cost, and then it grossed $90.2 million worldwide.
Holy crap.
That's insane.
And studios, everybody wants that big hit, so they're just tossing money to the wind, right? And then they put all this money into their marketing and distribution efforts, and then for how much they put in, it ends up maybe making $100 million on a $200,000 budget, right? You still lost ultimately, right?
Yeah.
Your film. I'm of the mindset there's no reason why any movie should ever cost more than $200 million, even the big blockbuster stuff. Look at Dune 2 this last year. Cost $190 million. I can see every penny of that $190 million on the screen.
Yeah.
Right? From the cast to the production to the sets to the wardrobe. I can see all of it. The music, everything. And then you've got other movies like anything Marvel's been making lately outside of Deadpool and Wolverine.
We're talking about Captain America the other
they
day.
they just throwing money. I can't see where the money in Captain America or Captain America: Brave New World went. It's reported $180 million. I think that's BS. I think it cost a hell of a lot more because they did significant reshoots. Even if they want to sit there and say they didn't, Marvel has a history of lying.
Yeah.
So does Disney. So we can't take anything they say at face value. And they have to report it at some point. I think they have 3 years, like they can keep it under wraps, and then they have to unveil how much it actually costs to make it. It's the MPAA and the film industry's way of trying to like have transparency. A lot of good that has done the industry because no one cares about the big budget Hollywood movies anymore. I think the day and age of big time Hollywood stars is pretty much like you put The Rock in anything. The Rock used to be bona fide hit no matter what he's in at the box office. He don't make nothing anymore. No one cares to go watch his stuff. Right?
Yeah.
It's just things have shifted.
Yeah.
And audiences will turn out though for something that they're excited to see. People were stoked to see Deadpool and Wolverine. You bring Hugh Jackman back as that role, and you know that like they've got history in the comics if you're a comic book fan, but like you also understand it's going to be rated R. It's going to be, you know, gory a little bit. It's going to be funny as hell. And that's what they did.
Yeah.
The story's terrible. It makes no sense. It's more multiverse crap, but they make fun of it along the way. So it makes it enjoyable.
Yeah.
Audiences like that kind of experience. They don't, you know, I don't know. Things have just kind of shifted. But the one genre that always does well and people always go to the theater to experience it is horror.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
There's always a horror movie that's in a theater.
Always.
Yeah.
And this year already, we've had Companion, Hard Eyes, and now The Monkey. They're all going to end up making way past their money. Last year was a great year. Terrifier 3 is just mentioned, but there was also Longlegs. Longlegs was $10.5 million budget and made over $100 million. Neon's biggest movie they've ever released.
Yeah.
It's you got to understand, I think, who your audience is, what you're, you know, who you're making these things for, and then understand kind of how to piece it all together and how to market it to them. And I don't think you need to have an exuberant marketing budget to be able to make that happen. Now, you do want to put money in marketing. I see a lot of indie filmmakers that, you know, they get, you know, $150,000 go make their movie, and they put $140,000 of it towards the, you know, the entire film, and then $10,000 was set aside for the marketing. You're not going to market off of $10,000. So, but a good rule of thumb, I think, is in terms of keeping costs down. You want your marketing budget to kind of reflect what your production budget's going to be. So for 1111, we can make that realistically off of $300,000. I think, get the equipment, pay everybody. It's very small. I think it's cast and crew of like 15 people tops. We can 100% make that on $300,000 budget, and then $200,000 in marketing for an indie film. Horror kind of hits that niche crowd that you know, like A24, because it's kind of in the vein of the A24 Neon, kind of more art house style, more dramatic, but still very scary. 1111 is going to scare the shit out of people. I'm going to make sure of it. And Emma's, I think Emma can attest to that as well. There's some good stuff, but yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to make its budget back and then some. So I don't know. It's give me the money and we'll crank them out like hotcakes.
Well, that's why I brought it up, because like the stuff you're making now is like little to no budget. Imagine what you could do if you had even a little bit more money.
I get told that fairly often too. Like, you guys did that on no budget, man. If you guys even had like 20,000, how good would that have been? I'm like, it would have been even better. Like, that's so yeah. And that's the other thing. A lot of times I see in, like, whether it be Reddit or, you know, just YouTube stuff or whatever that I watch, a lot of filmmakers that are in my position, they won't go make anything unless there's money behind it. And you're never going to succeed that way. You need to go out and, like, the way I view it is practice makes perfect. And I mean, we released everything out of order from how we made it, right? So like Drowning, I did Drowning on my own first, then we did The Nightmare. That was me, you, and Emma. And we released Nightmare first, then we released Drowning. And then we made the report and sent it to festivals, but we didn't drop it on the YouTube page until October.
Mm-hmm.
And then
It was closer to Halloween.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then after the report, me and Dallas went and did Penumbra, and Penumbra we dropped in November. Whispers we did after those two, and that was the next one we dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And then Night In
Yeah.
was and that one's way shorter, under 7-minute runtime, but that's our most successful one on the YouTube page. That's over 5,000 views now.
Yeah.
And I've it's really cool too to be a part of all this. The more stuff I make and the more I get it out there, and then I keep networking with people, I randomly will get emails from film festivals saying, "Hey, we saw your short. We think it'd be great for our festival. Submit it. We'll give you a 25, 35, 50% off thing to submit." And I just have no desire to do that. I don't need an award to tell me whether or not it's even if they're not good, I enjoyed making it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I do think they are entertaining, and they are a lot of fun. Some of them. Drowning is not fun to watch. That'll make you feel bad.
And what's that one about?
Oh gosh, Drowning is about a man that is very depressed and contemplating the meaning of his life and the confines of everything around him. Very much an extension of an older version of me, I think, or a past version of me. Same difference. But because those are feelings that I used to experience, right? I used to always question what's the meaning of not life per se, because I think I have a good idea of what the meaning of life should be, but like what is me being here mean in all of this? And the Drowning definitely kind of I think reflects that, and ends on a very dark note, but also has a positive message in it, and that's the kind of message I seek to put out there. So the shorts outside of Drowning and Penumbra don't always like get that deep and emotional and hit kind of like real topics, but all the feature films I want to make, they're gonna explore those kinds of things. So 1111 is very much an exploration of a family that is navigating a tragedy, and they're dealing with grief and guilt, and I think that's something that's really powerful. It's got a really good message as well, and I'm not going to pull a smile, have an ending where you think, everybody's okay, and then rug pull. No, you don't always have to end a horror film on some dark, downer note. I think you can have something that ends on a positive note, and 1111 is definitely a film that I think kind of veers that way. Seed and Hollows, because it's going to be a trilogy of slasher movies, is definitely not that way. Each ending is going to kind of be more cliffhanger, but even those, I wrote the first script for the first Seed and Hollows when I was 15. I copyrighted that in 14, I guess. 2007, I copyrighted it. And I reread it like so many times over the last 10 years, and I'm like, this is bad. I'm never going to make this. And I convinced myself at some point, I was like, look, I love slasher movies, but I'm never going to make one, because if I can't put a story that has a purpose in there, it's just mindless kills, and like, yeah, that'd be fun to make, but I don't want to do something that doesn't have a purpose behind it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, one day I was rereading it and I was like, oh fuck, I could do this. So it kind of has evolved into a story about people that, because it follows realistically a group of friends that are high school, 17, 18 years of age, right? But then
Yeah.
you also have these older characters who have already lived through this, same scenario that are back in the town. And so in a way, it's kind of like bridging the gap between old school slasher elements and new school, and then also kind of carving its own thing at the same time. And so it delves into themes of the cyclical nature of violence and how that can destroy a town, how that can destroy people's lives, how they might not ever be able to recover from a horrible experience like that. And that's not just for the characters that are, going through this, madman's rampage. He himself is, a victim of that same kind of trauma. And so his trauma is now him, as he grew up, he inflicts, pain on others as well. And then, they're in pain as a result. So they inflict pain on all those around. And it's this cyclical thing. And I don't think I've seen a slasher movie really explore themes like that and it still goes into grief and survivor's guilt, I think, a lot more as well, especially after the first one. And then the second one, I'm still working on the script for it. It's pretty close to done, but the second one I thought would be a great opportunity to explore media kind of sensationalizing and like profiting off of the tragedy and misfortune of others. Anytime, a really horrible crime happens, it's all over the media and everything. And these people that are involved in that, their lives will never be the same. They're always going to be stuck to that event, and they'll never be able to truly process and move forward beyond it. So I thought that was something interesting, to kind of explore. So yeah, I don't know. I went on a tangent, but
No.
yeah.
So it sounds like a lot of this has like a very deep touch, especially on some of your films to you, for personal reasons or personal messages out to what you're trying to, I guess, personal message you're trying to get out on certain things. Would you, so I guess tying in with that, would you say that, like, if you got to a point where you knew you weren't going to make any money out of it, would you just keep doing it for the fun of it? Like, do you have that?
Oh, 100%. I just I enjoy being behind a camera.
Yeah.
I mean, I've acted in a lot of the stuff we do. I don't enjoy that aspect of it, although I'm told I'm not bad, I guess. But I much prefer being the one to like set up the shot and like put the people in their places and kind of bring a vision to life. And whether or not I get to do that on a big scale or just have to continue doing it on a small one, it's become it's a passion and it's a hobby, and it's something I would continue to do even if there was no money to be, made from it, but, I don't think that's going to be the case for much longer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
no, it's definitely the most fun thing I think I do in my spare time.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do it as much as I probably like, listen to music and dance around the house while cleaning or something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, I those moments we go out and shoot something with everybody, however many people it is that's part of it. Those are some of my favorite moments.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And so then I also wanted to follow up on something you kind of touched on earlier with burnout. Have you firsthand witnessed or experienced any burnout or anything like that?
yeah, for sure. We were cranking so many out this year that I think once winter hit and it like we kind of had to close shop. So that wasn't necessarily burnout. That was more of there's Dallas about to bash your head with the rock. That's one of my favorite pictures. I got that by chance too. So good.
On crutches too.
But no, and that's why I love having Dallas, because I have hit moments where it's like we made something, I'm going through the editing process, and maybe I get hitched up on something, or maybe I can't figure out like an audio cue or something, and I'll give him a buzz and kind of bounce it off of him, and like, dude, I'm stressing. He's like, we'll take a day and then get back at it tomorrow. And then he'll give me a call, hey, let's go shoot something. Okay, what do you have in mind? And then we'll start pitching ideas, and then we go shoot. So there's moments where I get burned out for sure, but I think that's why it's so good to have somebody like him, that he's super passionate about it as well. And because we worked together before we ever started doing this. We worked in alcohol distribution, and then we worked again more recently, but I mean, we had always kind of talked about the movie stuff, and he knew I was big into it. And then, all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, I want to, let's go make something. I'll be a part of something. And then we did it. And now he's kind of the person that, lights the fire under my ass and gets me going and moving and making stuff, because realistically we can't do any of this unless I'm in it. Burnout happens not as often now, I think. Like I'm fully committed and devoted to it, and I understand there's going to be issues where maybe the footage gets messed up and we got to go reshoot all of it. That's happened before. I've had the audio cut out on me and it didn't record at all, so had all this great shots and footage, but no audio behind it. So I think as time has gone on, like there's less technical difficulties, there's less issues with like people's schedule. Like people tend to be very willing to devote their time and make time to do it and be a part of it, even if they've never done anything like this before. Like we're about to start making a whole new batch of stuff that none of these are people that have done that are in like theater or currently actively acting or currently like a film composer or even doing music. And in the case of Brandon, he is in a band and he does do some, he has a job in music, but like a lot of the people that we're making this stuff with, this isn't something they do for a day job. This isn't something they had any idea of doing for a day job. It's just something to go do, something to have a good time, and hey, I want to be a part of that, so we go be a part of it. But I think that's part of what makes it so much fun and makes it so beautiful, and wants like. There is tax incentives in the state, and it becomes a viable industry here, and it continues to grow and blossom. I think you're going to see a lot more, local talent, a lot more people that are like, what, now that's open, I can invest in this. And you're going to see a lot of, really, really talented, incredible people doing movie stuff, whether they're writing, whether they're directing, acting, doing the lighting, doing the audio. Whatever it may be, top to bottom, you're going to need all those people to be able to bring it to life. Where we're at right now, we're getting to a point where we're starting to bring more people in to do more of the behind the camera stuff, not just be in front of it and then me do everything else, right? Which makes my job a hell of a lot easier now. You need all those people to help bring it to life, and in order for it to become a viable industry. I mean, there's a lot of people that do AV rigging, do audio video stuff for a ton of like music venues and stuff here around town. I'm sure you get film industry popping off here. Some of those people are going to segue that into the film industry, and they'll find great success at it because they'll do a great job and they have the experience.
Well, even Deacon, he was talking about how he wanted to be in the movie stuff, but it's too expensive.
Well, set it up. We'll make it happen.
No, for sure. And he's one of those guys. He's always down for something new too. I'm very much the same way. And hearing you kind of talk about a lot of your experiences, kind of like, obviously we're a lot more fresh into this, but like I kind of feel like we've kind of dipped our foot into the water, just like with a little bit of the things that you're saying. You know, like I feel like it's some of the things of like going about things on like, we're not getting paid to do this. We're not, every guest we get on here is not getting paid, everybody's doing this because they want to, and it's fun and we enjoy it. And for me, at least, like I've talked about a little bit, I'm doing this because like I love to learn new stuff, which is something that like, that's why I listen to podcasts. And I think that's cool out of this. And then, I also love to laugh and just mess around, with my friends. And new people and meet new people, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's a lot of similarities in the two world. I mean, obviously this is a lot smaller scale, you know, but
I mean, it could always become big scale too.
Yeah.
I can't think of any time I've ever listened to a podcast and they got like 30 motherfuckers in the room.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
You could have that at some point. Yeah.
We've actually talked a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I
Good.
fully endorse it.
Yeah, no, we've bounced around a few ideas on like ways we could incorporate, like maybe like on the YouTube or on Rumble, you know, like a game show type of thing where
Oh,
we
that'd
get
be
people
cool.
in person and compete in some form of something like that. You know?
Yeah,
Just-
that's already got my brain rolling with
Yeah.
ideas. So
Yeah.
I'll send a few of these.
Oh, yeah. I'll take it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and it's just in like that's the other thing I find awesome about this is it's always got me wondering like what's the next step from here, you know, and like what can we incorporate through it, and enjoy our time, have other
Yeah.
people enjoy their time, and
I think
you
that's
know.
what it's all about, is just enjoying the ride.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
long as you don't have like any expectations.
Yeah.
Because once you start setting expectations on yourself or whatever it is you're doing, then you start setting yourself up for failure. I think for something that you legitimately enjoy doing or passionate about, you have to be able to let go of any and all expectations and just take it in stride and enjoy
Yeah.
the ride. And that's what it's all about.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and this is something that me and him have kind of learned in this world is some people we're kind of learning are camera shy, right?
Yes,
Have you
yeah.
had any experiences like that or firsthand witnessed anything?
Yeah. So I may not look it.
Uh-huh.
I am camera shy, 100%. I remember Emma, Mom might have the video somewhere. You're gonna have to ask her to find it, and then
I'll
burn
put it
it
on there.
afterwards. Do not watch it.
I'm gonna put it on.
Please don't. So in fifth grade, I think I was I was supposed to sing the second verse of "Surfing in the USA" by the
Yeah.
Beach Boys in our little choir concert thing, and like I ended up singing it, but like I missed the first two lines because I was shocked. I was shell shocked,
Yeah.
in front of this whole crowd. Like we'd practiced it, I'm belting it out, but the second I get up there and everybody's sitting in their seats,
Yeah.
and then anytime I have to get in front of the camera, oh no, why? And then I get in front of it, and then it's off, right?
Yeah.
But Tori hated being in front of the camera. Well, I don't. She wasn't camera shy until after she saw
her. Yeah.
after she saw the short. Then she was like, "Oh my gosh, I did so horrible. I look so bad and everything."
I
And that's why
understand
she
that,
was
yeah.
so good in part 3. We start shooting part 3. She's like, "Let's reshoot it. Let's reshoot
Yeah,
it. I can do better." And I'm like, "Yes, dude,
There
I
is-
love that."
There is a big difference in her acting in the first one to the third one.
I thought
'Cause
she was
we-
great in the first one too.
Yeah,
I
there
think
was
specifically the middle to the end.
Yeah.
She's the strongest.
I was gonna say the very first part, you can tell she's a little stiff.
Yeah, little. Yeah,
And
yeah.
Obviously,
still,
having a big camera in your face is
Yeah.
kind of.
I was.
scary.
I'm not gonna lie to you though. I was kind of stiff in that opening too. I'm like, where did we? Because we're
Yeah.
just free flowing the dialogue back and forth. So I'm just trying to respond based upon what she's giving me, and that is really hard to do. I will
Yeah.
say, being able to just try and come up with the dialogue and steer a conversation on the fly with no direction.
Yeah.
That's pretty difficult. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Emma's never been camera shy. You haven't been camera shy.
Yeah.
Dallas is Dallas, dude. You
Yeah.
tell him to do something, he's just gonna do it.
Yeah.
It's but and then I don't know. I feel like some of the people we're about to be working with on this next set of projects we've got coming up, maybe a few of them are probably going to end up being camera shy. I'm already getting that impression based on things I've been told about like questions they're asking and like,
Yeah.
well, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to act in this? Why me? Do you think I'm good? And it's like, dude, we put you in this because the character you're playing is literally you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be
Right?
yourself.
Just be
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah. And that's what I try to do. I mean, outside of like the bigger roles, right?
Yeah.
Like Emma can play anything.
Yeah.
She can cry on command. She can laugh. Anybody can laugh on command, but hers are convincing. My laugh on
Yeah,
command
yeah.
is dumb. But most of the time, like especially with the shorts, if we're making something, I'm like, okay, we got to have a character that's, this. Oh, that reminds me of this person. Cool. We'll reach out to them. And then boom, we have the part. Anytime we cast Caden, it's like, we need a good looking dude. And then boom, it's Caden every time. So
yeah, you got the X model right here.
yeah, I know. Yeah.
No, that's actually how I got into all this stuff is I started dating Emma.
Yeah.
And you were like talking to Emma about the movies and stuff, and you were randomly like, you needed a character to be her boyfriend, and then you were like, hey, you wanna act in a movie? And I was like,
yeah, I just said it jokingly too.
Yeah,
but also like, hey, if he's down, I mean, I'm down too.
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's what I took it as a joke, and then we did.
Then we did the Nightmare?
Story. Yeah, so we did the Nightmare. And I wouldn't call it like I didn't do much in that one. I was just standing there. And then my first actual like acting thing, you were like, all right, so we went in the woods, and you're like, all right, we're gonna kill you tonight. And I was like, what?
That is not the thing you want to say to somebody right before you start a shoot. Hey, we're gonna kill you. Like, I thought this was a found footage horror movie. I didn't know this was a snuff film. What are we doing here? Yeah.
No, that was my intro to acting, pretty much. Yeah, I died.
Hey, we're in the middle of the woods, and we're actually going to kill you.
Yeah, I was like, all right.
But I mean, you were really good in it, and then a lot of people won't understand some of the like intricacies, I think, of Whispers, because there's a lot of things happening in Whispers. I had 45 minutes worth of footage for that, and I had to try and take out everything that didn't work and keep what did. And I could have probably trimmed it down even shorter. I think that's why the view count on it's, significantly less than everything else. All of our shorts end up hitting 1K views, except for that one, because it's 20 minutes. Typically, they end up being 12 minutes or less, outside of Drowning. Drowning, I think, is like 16 minutes or whatever. But it's Whispers has like a lot of people talking all at once. So it's hard to hear everybody's conversations because everybody's kind of throwing in their own little bit. You got Logan, my little guy, saying, I don't want to be here anymore. Take me away. And then you got some other person like Dallas saying something funny in retort. And then you got Emma saying, guys, there's something you got all these people. So it's hard to like kind of gauge what everybody's saying, but there's things that he's saying in there that's like he's a skeptic the entire time. That was the only blueprint I gave him. I need you to be the skeptic. Yeah. I'm going to be a skeptic. Dallas is a skeptic. Emma's going to freak out. Logan's going to freak out. And Jenny's going to freak out. That was the game plan. Yeah. And everybody pulled it off. It's just hard to really be able to see it because we're, found footage relegated to one camera. Yeah. Maybe if we had a 2-camera set, it easier to pull off. Maybe if I had clip-on mics, maybe you get better audio of everybody talking. And
but at the end of the day, it's a found footage show. You want to make it as realistic as you can. And like a found footage, it's not going to be super clean. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on at once.
And yeah, it was just fun to make. Yeah. I had so much fun making that.
That one was probably my favorite one because we did everything. We just made up everything.
Everything on the fly, And then Emma, just because she knew the title I was working with was Whispers, and I gave her the outline of what it was supposed to be. She's like, "Do you hear those voices?" And I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "Oh yeah." I don't know. Maybe it's just the way. Try to play it off. Yeah. But just little elements like that, it ties it back into what it's supposed to be. And I don't know. Whispers, I had a lot of fun making, and it might be the weakest for everybody else maybe, but for me, I think it's extremely underappreciated.
Oh yeah.
That one's a good time, and the trailer for it is rocking. I love that trailer.
Oh yeah.
and Brandon's music for it.
It was good.
So good. So yeah.
So as an actor or in acting in short films or whatnot, what are some ways that people, or what are some things people can do to get better? Is there anything specifically, or is it just natural, just kind of just being natural and being yourself?
I mean, part of me thinks Emma might be the better person to ask on that, just because she's definitely the best actor out of everybody in this room. I think probably right now, but I think a good rule of thumb is, you know, if you have material to read, usually we do. In 2 instances, we haven't. But when you have material to read, you know, just practice it, and usually practice it with somebody else. I think definitely helps. Whenever I write a script, like me and her have read it back and forth to each other and tried to practice how we want the inflection of the tone to be for the delivery of a certain line, or like, you know, what your facial expression is going to be after somebody else, you know, just kind of all these subtle little touches, I guess, and nuances. And then when the camera hits roll, just try and, you know, present all those things. But I think same as just, you know, me being behind the camera and doing, you know, the cinematography and directing and everything. It's definitely practice makes perfect kind of thing. So yeah, you just, I don't know. Like when I was in high school, I did debate and forensics, and in forensics, I was originally going to be doing drama interpretation, and there was one I was going to do, A Child Called It. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that, but that's, you know, something that I practiced really hard on, and I think I would have been really good at it. And then I ended up getting thrown into public forum debate instead, and I rocked it. I lettered in it. Let's go. But yeah, it's just one of those, you know, one of those things where, you know, you get material that you really like or you're a big fan of. You could just go grab a scene from a movie that you've always, you know, really enjoyed, and you find yourself quoting it a lot, and then just practice it over and over again, and eventually you'll just, it'll become second nature, and then you just kind of segue that into anything else that you end up doing if you're wanting to act. But I don't know, again, I'm not necessarily a person, I think, to be giving acting advice. I myself am not an actor by any means. But
I will say one huge thing in a lot of movies you see like method acting is a big part, and there's just different kinds of acting. So knowing like the message that you want to get across on the story and what part your character plays in that, even if there's no script, just kind of understanding, and also like being able to put yourself in the character's shoes and say, what would I do?
yeah, that's another big part. I agree, is being able to put yourself in the character's shoes and then just kind of embody what they're supposed to be. And yeah, if you have written material, that's way easier to do for sure. Emma, for whatever reason, is able to do that without a script as well. So I just trust her to be able to, you know, bring her A game every single time. But yeah, no, that's
Sure.
good tidbits, I think. Yeah.
So were you ever involved with anything like theater or anything like that in high school?
I did band from like 5th grade until 8th grade, and then I got out of band, didn't enjoy it anymore. But I played trombone, so and we had to play concerts and stuff. So I performed in front of a crowd. I've done that kind of stuff. I did broadcast journalism in middle school. That was a lot of fun, and that, you know, kind of a segue to what were you guys saying?
I was gonna say we had broadcast journalism in school. What?
Yeah, it was.
No,
Yeah, okay, yeah. I remember me and another kid did a skit. Well, we were wanting to do a skit that was like a report, like news host kind of thing, kind of like SNL stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was going to end with the White House blowing up scene from Independence Day. I don't know how we got to that, but we didn't end up following through on it, I don't think so. But yeah, definitely you know, did some stuff that was kind of adjacent, I think, but never specifically did like theater at all. Although, like, I'm a big fan of theaters and plays and all those kinds of things. So, again, I think that just goes back to my like appreciation for everything as kind of an art form. Anything that takes any amount of creativity, you know, I want to see it. I want to see how it's brought to life, and you know, talk to the people that made it, and or at least like listen, you know, to them talk to others about how they, you know, how it all came together. I think that's very interesting to learn about, and that kind of also helps, you know, give me ideas and mold my creative self as well,
Yeah.
and bring new things to the table. So
Yeah. Wasn't there something outside of something we were talking about we wanted to ask him about whenever I called you? You had two things, and it was the law, or what they're trying to pass, and then
Yeah.
there's something else I was getting. I don't remember what it was though.
Just like I think it was just like how the movie industry is going to change in Kansas because of the law. Or
So
was it something
it's not just going to
Might be
change in
something else,
Kansas.
but-
I think it's going to change. It's already changing.
Mhm.
Like indie films are more and more finding success. You have a lot of people that have been executive producers, line producers, directors, writers, cinematographers. Like a lot of people got laid off from the strikes,
Yeah.
and a lot of people left some of the big time companies they were at, your Universals, your Warner, your Sony, whatever have you, and have since funded their own companies. I see this growing trend where there's a lot of people investing in their own streaming service platforms, catered to indie filmmakers, but there's no money to be made in it for anybody involved. I think that's a really bad idea.
Yeah.
There was this thought that was prevalent for a little bit, I think, where everybody assumed after COVID and everything, like people just weren't going to go to movie theaters anymore. Everything was going to be streaming, and part of the streaming model is it's not beneficial to anybody that actually makes the projects, in my opinion, in most cases. And then the quality tends to be lesser than that of something that's made with the intention of going to theatrical for a wider audience. And you have some big time filmmakers that they're like, no, I'm not. We're sending it to theater, right? You got your Denis Villeneuve. He's one of my favorites. You've got I love Guillermo del Toro as well. He's great. Always going to make his stuff for theatrical, but I mean he's done some other stuff, Netflix stuff like the Pinocchio and his little horror anthology. I can't remember what it's called. Cabinet of Curiosities. That's what it was. But for indie, you I think if you go if you get in this mindset of, hey, we're just going to release it to streaming, you're already kind of mortgaging your project's success rate. And that's not something I'm looking forward to do. I want to have my own streaming service platform at some point when I've got more of my own original content under my belt, and then I'm at a point where I can produce other people's content. And I'm only going to produce stuff here in the state. I'm not going to do people from out there. I'm going to build it here, grow it here with people from here, and we're going to make a big time thing out of it. We're going to do our premieres here. I'm not flying in an airplane, especially when they all keep going down right now. I'm not getting in a plane to go to LA to walk a red carpet thing, because that's just a showboaty thing. You don't need that. I think it's cooler to do a, premiere here if it's made here. Maybe do it at the AMC North Rock, because I love that theater. Oh, they got the best chairs. And then just make an event out of it for the people here, I think the biggest thing changing is audiences are starting to kind of, they can tell whether or not something is genuine. And you keep making the same tired, rehashed bullshit time and time again. People aren't going to keep going out for it. Everything I make, might have influences from stuff I've, taken in over time of my life, but they're all original. They're all me, right? I'm not plagiarizing. I'm not remaking somebody's, I have no intentions of ever making the next Scream or rebooting Michael Myers and the Halloween franchise. I don't want to touch any of that stuff. I want to make my own stuff, and because I feel like that's more genuine and that's going to resonate more with audiences, and that's what it's about. Hollywood is just putting out stuff. They don't really care about how it's going to connect anymore. It's that they're, and that's what streaming did as well. The streaming model is they're just making content to put content out, and so it's quantity over quality, and audiences have kind of shifted now because of that. So people are seeking quality, instead of just keep putting stuff out, and then the horror genre's popping off. So this is the time to do it. We get the film tax incentives going, and then get the funding, and then go get the first two made. Again, conservative estimates. I think 1111 will make a lot of money. Hopefully, we get it made, and then I can bring on the company I want to market it. Or the flip side is set aside that money for marketing, but spend however much of it, allocate it towards going to those bigger time film festivals, and then securing a distribution deal with one of the big horror distributors. So like an A24 or a Neon. I'm not ever going to do anything with Jason Blum and Blumhouse. They're making trash right now. I don't want to touch it. But what are you doing over there?
Holy crap, it's almost been 2 hours.
Yeah.
You ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, well, we definitely got a handful of knowledge passed through, and I feel like we got some good conversations. So thanks for coming on here and chatting it up with us for a little bit.
Of course, it's been a blast.
I'm glad we got to hear a different area in the field and whatnot too. I think it's super cool to see different crafts that people have and get to hear how their passion for it is, and how it all kind of turns into its own art.
I think everybody that's in these like creative fields here, specifically in Wichita, are all kind of the same mindset. They all kind of want to build it and do it here. And I think that's awesome, because I think once one domino falls, then the rest of them, and it becomes this. Everybody kind of gets an opportunity to succeed at the same time, and that's kind of the big thing I want to do with Rupp Films. Like I don't want the fame. I don't care about the money. Like, you have to make money to keep making movies. I understand that, but I want to take care of everybody else, just because that's in my nature, and I want to give back to the community and to the people here, and help invest in other people's ideas, whether it's movie related or not. Like again, I'm big into music. I would love to get into the music game and help produce people's music, and help market it and distribute that if I could, and so on and so forth. So and that's what it's all about, I think. So.
No, that local support here is definitely huge, especially for the variety that Wichita brings, in all different aspects.
Yeah,
but
it's all going to come together very soon. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you again. I'm glad we got to make it happen finally.
Yes.
So I guess we'll cut it out there.
Well, do you want to tag all your stuff?
Yeah.
How do I do that? Okay.
Just say your Instagram.
Okay, so don't go follow any of my personal stuff, because I'm probably not going to accept it. Just Rupp Films on everything. So that's YouTube, ruppfilms.com, Rupp Films on Instagram, Rupp Films on TikTok. But the YouTube's the best place to go. And then I guess Rupp Films on Facebook too, although I post very sparingly. I do not like social media that much, so just a forewarning. But
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we'll wrap it there. Thank you again.
Thank you for having me on. This has been a blast. So we'll do this again, hopefully.
Yes, of course.